what's your belief system? We all believe in something, but if you believe in doing right, you're going to win every time.
An incredibly, insanely high amount of positivity in a world which increasingly seems to be divisive and incoherent. What is driving you?
I think what drives me is when I started in 1992, I'm going to say this guy is worth $800 million.
People think of insurance as a necessary evil.
Why do you carry $1 million worth of term, yet the business is worth $20 million? The best way for people to understand what human life value is, on 9/11, the government had to come up with a number.
Usually I am the host on this, but I will try to answer a question. Listen, don't question, follow orders, do your homework, stay obedient.
I'm starting to realize what an impact I could have on my legacy with this. And that to me is exciting.
Hello and welcome to Inception to Infinity. This is Occams Advisory's podcast. I'm your host, Anupam Satyasheel. Thank you for those who are liking and subscribing to our channel. Your approval and support means a lot to us. Today, I'm joined by Chris Torres, who I like to call a legend. Chris has been in insurance and financial services industry for more than 3 decades. He has impacted tens and thousands of lives. He has impacted thousands of businesses that I know of personally. He's a leader. He's a speaker like nobody else. Chris brings in that unique element of trust and credibility to an industry which sometimes get a bad rep for wrong reasons. Chris, welcome to Inception to Infinity.
Thank you, my friend. Glad to be here.
Chris, you have lived your professional life through interesting times, 90s, housing crisis, COVID crisis, and you have remained consistent and truthful and successful. How do you manage all that?
It's the guiding light. I think hope everyone that listens to this has some type of guiding light in their life, whether that's your truth, the universe, God, whatever that is for you. That one day you're going to have to answer for the things you said, the way you treated people. And that's always been at the front of my mind. How am I going to be received? My dad always said, when you run your business, think of it, what if it was in the headlines tomorrow? Would that embarrass your family? Would that embarrass your name? What would it do to your character? And it's like I was sharing with you before we started. I talked to a gentleman I stood up for in court 15, 17 years ago. And not only did he remember me, he said, I still can't believe your integrity when you did that. No one else would help us. You didn't even hesitate. But again, what's your belief system? We all believe in something. But if you believe in doing right, you're going to win every time. Now, will you win, quote, every legal battle? No. That's not up to you, but you're going to win the thought process of, I did the right thing and I took a stand. And that's how you live with yourself, knowing you did the right thing.
So I have seen your guiding light. I have seen your conviction and purpose in many situations. But for our audience, tell us what matters most in your life. What is that motivates you to get up every day, put on your best self? And I see you do it every day. And an incredibly, insanely high amount of positivity in a world which increasingly seems to be divisive and incoherent. What is driving you?
I think what drives me is when I started in 1992, I was meeting all the people, a tremendous amount of business owners that didn't know about key protection, didn't know about certain tax advantages. Let me give you an example of this. Probably very close friend of the family. I went over to his office a couple of weeks ago, client of mine, and you're going to laugh. I swear it's true. He said, Chris, I just found something out. I said, what is it, Micah? Do you know if your car weighs over 6,000 pounds, there's a write-off? I'm going to say this guy is worth $800 million. And I met him years ago. And I'm laughing and going, how does a guy worth $800 million just find that out? Because people don't know. We assume if you're excellent in business, you know the majority of everything about everything, right? But no one ever had that conversation with him. It's the same conversation we've had. I think the greatest secret in America for business owners is premium financing. Wait a minute. I can buy the insurance for pennies on the dollar. How come no one's ever told me that? I have no idea, but I'm here to tell you the truth that this is truly the greatest deal in America for a business owner. Businesses worth 50 million, 100 million, whatever the number is. Do you want to pay the dollar or 8 cents? 8 cents? That's the right answer. And I can still take care of the business. Yes. You know what the business is worth. Why am I not hearing this from my people? Don't know. But it's the truth. Isn't it strange? People are amazed by the truth every day. It's the truth. There isn't another version. It's when you and I'll say this, when I was fortunate enough to get into the ERC space, there were literal business owners. There's no way that's true. Why would the government give me money? Well, funny you would ask, but you hit these criteria, these numbers, it pays you. Well, I'll believe you. Someone we know, I'll believe it when I get my check. Okay. And then they're holding $2 million worth of checks. Hey, you were right. No kidding. Right? How many times have we tried to tell a business owner the truth and they still sat there? Are you sure? You can show them every legal, logical, accounting reason. They just don't know. They keep their nose to the grindstone and do their thing.
So, Chris, you take me to a topic which is of utter fascination to me, and you hit upon the right chord. There's a phenomenal book called Psycho-Cybernetics. There was a plastic surgeon called Maxwell Maltz who wrote that book. And that was about self-image, that a person believes they're a certain type, and nobody does something which is inconsistent with their self-image. If I think I am an honest person, then I will do everything to be honest in all situations. But deep inside, I think if I'm not, then I will find ways to practice that. You deal with people's deepest insecurities, you deal with people's business problems. And what I like about you, Chris, that your clients actually are your friends.
Yeah.
So from that unique insight, what is one or more than one thing that you can tell people about insurance that's widely misunderstood for business owners, for families, for other people? Like, what is that they need to know about insurance? People think of insurance as a necessary evil. I have to have it, so I have it.
Yeah.
But that's not true. Insurance can be rewarding. Insurance can be wealth building. Tell us the insights which an average person does not know.
I am daily amazed that people don't understand that this is an asset growing tax-free that is practically unlimited in the contribution. And this is what I share with my business owners. Mr. Business Owner, you're aware of Roth IRA. Absolutely. And what is your belief system going into that? Well, Chris, you know I make too much. I understand that, but what is your belief? It's a fantastic deal. I had a guy tell me Monday, but basically the cutoff's at 250. It would allow me to put 7,000 in. I go, okay. What if I told you there's a vehicle that you could put 70,000 in or 400,000 in that grows the exact same way, and you have access to the cash, and you can't be sued out of it in Arizona? And if anything ever goes wrong and you can't contribute to it because you're disabled, it automatically funds itself. He looked at me, I've never heard of that. Interesting. It's called permanent life insurance. How did I not know that? If we look at the numbers, we know that this is going to make between 4 and 6% conservatively tax-free, no risk. I can't get sued out of it. If I become disabled, it's paid the rest of my life as if I was contributing. There's not another vehicle that does that for you. Number three, I can take the money out of the plan and use it if I need to. I don't have to wait till I'm 59 and a half. So if I want to purchase a new business, I could have access to the cash value. If I want to buy a boat, whatever the case may be. People don't understand what a worthy product it is for the portfolio because the press does such a good idea of brainwashing them to purchase term. Now, sadly, I'll meet with a business owner. Why do you carry $1 million worth of term, yet the business is worth $20 million? People say, Chris, you've been at this 35 years. What have you seen? I've had a dentist call me with leukemia while 34 years old. Policy worked. I was very fortunate. I had the head of ER at a hospital in the state as a client. And when we met, I remember we used $3 million as the death benefit. And the wife said, we don't need that much. I said, you will. I won't tell him how to practice medicine. You don't tell me how to practice insurance. Oh, I can't believe you speak to me like that. Believe it. This is me. Ended up placing $3 million. 2.5 years later, you're familiar with Talking Stick Resort here, Scottsdale. They're out celebrating their anniversary. He drops dead of a brain aneurysm in their room. Married, 3 kids. It's the largest death benefit I've ever paid out personally, $3 million. But I know I'm going to be the guy showing up with the check. That's why, as you've witnessed, I'm so passionate about what I do. It's not, oh, if this happens. No, when it happens, when I'm going to be the first call you're going to make. I know it. So that's where my passion comes from. That's why you saw me so passionate going around the country telling the story of ERC. If you have an opportunity for a check to show up 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, and my friend, 8 figures, yes, I'm going to be passionate because I'm telling the truth. No one else is coming to you with this. And that's what's always surprised me. You could probably tell me stories, Chris. I have had business conferences where I tell people the truth and they go, are you sure it's like that? Well, yes, that's why they asked me to speak, right? Because I know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to save your life and you want to argue with me. I don't have time for it.
So, Chris, you talk about permanent life insurance versus term life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
For many people in our audience who are business owners or head of their families or the primary breadwinner for their family, if you could explain to them what the difference is. Many of them have it, one or the other, but people don't read fine print. You and I both know that.
Mm.
And how do you leverage that along with premium financing if they want to get the most, or as you said, to get something for 8 cents versus $1?
So first thing we do is look at human life value because we have to come up with a number. Now, the best way for people to understand what human life value is, on 9/11, the government had to come up with a number. How are we going to pay these people out jumping out of windows on the 73rd, 83rd floor of World Trade Centers? We're going to use human life value that says your income at your present age. So I'm just going to grab a number. I'm a 40-year-old making $100,000 to age 65, the age at which the government says you're going to retire. 100,000 times 25. We've got a number, correct? So then yep. So you have a human life value of $2.5 million. Now, that's not being a father. That's not being, a corporate leader. That's just a straight human life value. On addition to that, are there any loans outstanding, et cetera? We add that number. So these are the same people that'll look online. Hey, Dave Ramsey tells me I need $500,000. Well, I guess Dave Ramsey's showing up with a check at the funeral because that's nowhere near enough. So when I hear that, I just shake my head going, you're not getting the truth, how real life works. Because he assumes, oh, well, we have 800,000 in our 401k and we have No, don't assume anything. It's always better to assume they don't have anything. Assume it's going to happen tomorrow. They have kids. You'd still want good things to happen for the family. That's it. So we establish value. Then I say, okay, let's look at some of the options you haven't thought of. Do you use a 401k at work? Yes, I do. And I'm maxing it out. Okay, what's the match? The match is 3%. Okay, you make $200,000 a year. 3%, $6,000 is your match. Yep. Okay, and that's free money. I'm not arguing. But can you tell me the remainder of the money that's going in when you have access to that? Yeah, 59 and a half. Okay, you're 34 years old. What if I could show you a way not spend any more money out of your pocket, but take that same dollar and use it for a vehicle like a Roth IRA? Only it's called permanent insurance, and you have access to the cash. It grows tax-free, and it's used as a pension when you go to retire. That's tax-free. No one's ever told me that before. Oh, okay. That's just one idea. Or you have a business owner of a C corporation. This was a company Tuesday. So you have a C corporation. He know that a C corporation could write the premium off. Never heard it before. He said, wait a minute, you're telling me that me and the 4 other key people could just do this? Yeah, and get the write-off, 100%. Again, how come no one's told me this before? Or, and you'll appreciate this, well, my life guy didn't tell me that. I don't know what to tell you. So let's take this up to what you asked me before. So what do you do? And I'm living this case right now. I have a company worth $100 million. 2 partners, one 37, the other's 57. And I asked them about premium financing. So explain to me how that works. And the premium was 50 million on each. I want to say $3 million. We could use the premium financing, and it was 7 cents on a dollar when they look at the math. Like, well, when do I pay it back? Well, when you die, there's going to be a larger death benefit. That's just one of the options. And I get the growth in between. Yes, you're the one getting the growth in between. It's always an option, but people don't know how to solve the problem. And you'll get this because they have always thought the same way. So our job as leaders is, let's think about this a different way. And that's what brings me the most joy now. Let's think about it a different way. What if? And then just walk them through the exercise.
So we have talked a lot about how people are blissfully unaware of opportunities. And then talk about how you have got some of them to go past their mental blocks and achieve some level of success in the area that you're trying them to get there. Businesses continue to have ongoing challenges with whatever comes their way. Again, that's they learn as they go, they solve as they go. A lot of unique opportunities to talk about come from the tax code or the dramatically complex regulatory system that this country has. Do you think it's a good thing to have such a complex tax code, which of course gives you some of these wonderful write-offs? Or do you think it's not a good thing to have such crazy regulatory burden at federal, state, local levels?
Right. Here's the frustrating part, right? As we talk to business owners, you've got the corporate tax, you've got payroll tax, you have the estate tax, the borough tax, right? 7, 8 times. And there's money leaving the balance sheet, and people are saying, show me something different. I mean, listen, my friend, that's what you've been able to accomplish. Show me something different. I've got to be missing something. Our blessing is that we can show entrepreneurs and business owners how to put those dollars on the right side of their balance sheet. I've always paid this much in taxes, but that doesn't mean it's right. So to answer your question, yes, I'm okay with the complex, but you need someone that has the rule book, if you will. Someone that can show me, wow, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know going to the doctor and the spa and taking care of myself and getting a trainer are items I could use on my taxes. Absolutely. Let me ask you something. We both believe that your greatest asset is yourself. I'm always fascinated. Then why don't people take better care of themselves? If you are your greatest asset, wouldn't you think, wouldn't it be reasonable to exercise, to read, to have higher thoughts? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Why don't they? Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm asking you as a friend. I don't, it's, I just don't understand.
So I have some answers. Usually I am the host on this, but I will try to answer your question. You are a great dad to two kids. I try to
Thank
be
you.
a good dad to my kids. We worry about the right values and right education for them at early stage because from like 2 years to 12 years is a formative time when the kids learn the habits they learn.
Yeah, that's true.
And my understanding is that the education system that this country has, or most countries have, was designed to create very good employees. So they
Yeah.
teach you things which are going to be useful to you when you become 18 and start working for somebody. Listen, don't question, follow orders, do your homework,
Yeah.
stay obedient. Those things are inculcated by reinforcement. But I don't think businesses benefit if people are extremely healthy and extremely progressive, and if people know all the right things, they understand all the financial insights. Because all the strong lobbies, and I might get some unreasonable questions for saying this, but I will say it nonetheless, that all the strong lobbies with healthcare or pharma or Wall Street, they want people not to know. Because if people start being extremely healthy and they all work out, then nobody falls sick, then what will the healthcare, which I call disease care system in this country, make money from? The good news is that uh, seems to be some focus these days on living well, at least for people who have financial resources. But as they say, obesity is a poor man's problem,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
food
Well
crisis is
said.
real. And they continue to go to McDonald's and again other food chains whose food price tells you that it can't be good quality. So steering back to where you and I were with regard to my asking you questions, you deal with entrepreneurs who, like you said, somebody is running an $800 million business or is worth $800 million. You have seen people start a business, build it, scale it, and become big.
Oh, yeah.
You have seen people start a business, fail, and fail second time or give up or whatever it turns out to be. What makes a great entrepreneur from your magic insight? What are they doing right? What
The,
can our audience
yeah.
learn from the people who are successful entrepreneurs?
Knowing there's no option. Knowing there is no option. This
Wow.
has to work. This has to work. We, as a society, I'm going to give you two stories here. Whatever business it is, I don't care if it's welding, I don't care if it's real estate, I don't care what it is. What is your belief system in yourself? That's it. This isn't Tony Robbins. What is your belief system in yourself? Do you believe you can be successful? Because if you believe it, great. And also, if you don't believe it, you don't have a chance. You have to believe that you were created for more, period. You have to internally believe that, whether it's your inner dialogue, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, whether it's some combination, you have to grow your strength and be able to draw on it when it's most needed. The fact that you have the truth behind you just substantiates it even more. What do you believe to be true? Because if you believe you have the best message for an entrepreneur, business owner in America, you'll be unstoppable. Because good people tell good people about results. It could be tax savings. It could be I'm getting in shape. Hey, let me tell you this story about They want an opportunity to brag about their own wisdom. We give them a channel to brag about their own wisdom because we bring them ideas that make their life better. Here's something, and you'll love this because we have a great ability to text each other. Hey, have you read this? Have you thought about this? Let me share with you a meeting I had last week with an attorney client of mine, tax attorney. I said, have you read anything good lately? He said, you could say that. And the book is 10X is Better Than 2X by Dan Sullivan. And I went, okay, you're one of the smartest people I know. Tell me what's happening. He said, let's do an exercise. And I'm going to encourage your listeners to go through this. Okay. And I'm going to give you my responses out loud. He said, okay, you want to go to a beach. Where are you going to go? Newport Beach. He said, okay. You want to go skiing. Where are you going to go? Park City. And if you and your wife want to see shows, are you going to go to New York or Vegas? I said, probably Vegas, just closer. Okay. He said, you want to hear something amazing? Absolutely. Name's Chris. I read this book and it asked me those questions. I said those things. You know what the next sentence was? Then what's stopping you? So in the last 12 months, I set up offices, and his was at Hotel Del San Diego, or outside of San Diego. He opened an office in San Diego, opened an office in Park City, and opened an office in Vegas. My friend, a year later, those offices are thriving. Doesn't that blow your mind? He finally was asked at 52 years old, okay, if you could build this empire, how would you do it? Now, is that someone waiting for permission to show up? I don't know about permission, but certainly a new way of thinking. Because the 4 offices are already making money. He said, I'm starting to realize what an impact I could have on my legacy with this. And that to me is exciting.
So you touch upon something which is a hot topic for at least 3 or 4 years now. There was a world before COVID where people went to office to work, they stayed at home for personal pleasure and family time. COVID times, 2 years, 2.5 years, they got intermingled, and that had dramatic consequences. We won't get into that. In the post-COVID world, there is a segment of the world that believes that hybrid arrangement of staying at home and working is possible. And there are large corporates and thought leaders who believe that the best work happens when people get together in an office. Your
Yes.
client is opening offices in Park City and San Diego and Las Vegas. But where does this sit in you have done exceptional work, you'll deal with exceptional people. Where is the best work being done? In an office setup or at home? What is your insight having
Office,
seen people?
not even close.
Why?
Human beings were meant to be with other human beings. Now, we have an incredible amount of respect for each other. This is good. But I also know I could be at your house in 6 hours and it'd be the same discussion. But human beings, my belief, need to be around other human beings physically. Because why? Let me share an idea with you. Hey, how are you handling this? What about texting is great, Zoom, economics, logistics, I get it. But my belief in my heart is human beings need to be around other human beings. Why? Because they need to express themselves. The fact that we're in a room together with 3, 4, 5 other people, we know we can share ideas, and that's the main thing. Share with me what you're going through. Share with me an idea. Share with me, how did you take on this challenge? Make me feel important. Validate my thoughts. All of that happens in person.
So you are very clear that being in the office is the way people should interact.
100%.
And that's the best work happens there. I tend to agree with your viewpoint on that. Now, taking it one place further from there, if that be the truth, at least that's what we're working as a hypothesis, Why are so many people against that? Why are so many people saying, I want to have the flexibility of working from home or some kind of hybrid? Is it because they don't want to face the reality and be their best self, or is it something else at play?
I think, again, this is just Chris's thoughts. I think out of COVID, a tremendous amount of people became lazy. I could work from home and not be judged, which that doesn't resonate with me, but you still have numbers to hit. You still have to have conversations. You still have to have dialogue. It's interesting to me that I'm not saying you can't work from home. You certainly can, but from the office. You can call it their habitat, their cave, whatever name you want to give it. Will you have people, quote, can hit their numbers from anywhere? I seem to think someone put a vision in my head years ago of you'll know you made it when you are on a sailboat in Greece and go up top and do a Zoom meeting and close the meeting. Okay, that sounds fun. But in the meantime, working from an office is my home field advantage. What do I mean by that? I know I'm just more comfortable working from here, my office, than I am from home. My knowledge hasn't changed. It's the way I'm presenting myself has changed. I know in my office, I'm going to do this, this, take them through my process, and it's going to work out for them incredibly well. When we look at companies, I know, is it Jamie Dimon? Everyone's back to work in the office. He took a giant stand and got a lot of flack for that. Well, I understand, but he does sign your paycheck. So you should probably go to the office.
Chris, how do you prepare for big meetings? What's your ritual to prepare for high stake, multi-million dollar
Wow.
opportunities?
That is a great question. Um, I go through the facts. What do I know to be true? So my process is I get with a business owner. 99% of the time I've been referred to them. And we just sat down like this morning. I met with a custom home builder. He just sold a $15 million build, and he just last Friday picked up the property. It's going to be a $22 million build here. And he was just sharing with me how he got there in his life. Um, and I just make a lot of notes. Married, 2 kids, one on the way. This is his greatest challenge, all of it. So I write out everything. And then they come to the office um, and just share with me what should we be doing differently. That's code for I need a better outcome than people I know. How can I do better than the set I'm in? And then we just go about where are the holes. Now, I can say this as someone with over 3 decades in the industry. The first place we always start is car insurance. And you know this to be true. I don't sell it. You have car and home. Do you have an umbrella policy? They'll go, yeah. Okay, what's the value? I don't know, $1 million. I always tell them this. At a minimum, at an absolute minimum, get $5 million of umbrella policy. Why? In a litigious society, as a OBGYN told me, people want to sue me for having ugly babies. People will sue you for any reason, period. The umbrella policy is going to be the first fortress around your assets. I have had people cause fatalities, use the umbrella policy. I have had people crash their golf carts, use the umbrella policy. I've had people become disabled, use the umbrella policy. Individuals want to show off, look at our scorecard, look at the money we've saved. I'm not discounting that. My job is to play defense. Let's find all the places you can lose money first before I worry about offense. Well, Chris, you don't even sell it. Yeah, I know. I told you that up front. So call Allstate, State Farm, Chubb, whoever it is, and tell them to take your coverage to $5 million. They've never had that conversation before, my friend. Not even their P&C agent told them. So that's where I start. Does this make sense to you? Yes. Well, if that makes sense, then what about this? Oh, well, that makes sense too. People respond to facts. They can respond to, I had a set of twins, and the guy had no umbrella policy and owned 4 restaurants. Said, how do you sleep? And he starts laughing. What do you mean? Your twins are 16 and driving around Scottsdale, Phoenix. How do you think this ends if one of them causes a fatality? I'd never thought about that. That's my job, right? But if they agree that's a good decision, then they just mount their decisions. Hey, maybe you should do this in the corporation. How do you retain top talent? I pay them a lot. That is one answer, but what else could we do for them? What do you mean? And then we're talking about key man policies. How do I get people to stick around 10 years, 20 years? And I share that with them. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's no different than when a business owner works in a situation where share with me ideas to lower my taxes. Okay, here's all the legal ways you could use to do that. They just didn't know. So we get to be the truth teller that makes a difference in their life.
I'm hearing all that you're saying, and I'm wondering, why is the insurance carrier themselves not doing something about keeping people right-sized, because they have all the information about their insured subjects. And I'm not trying to get into the reasons why they do or why they don't do. I'm trying to transition this to a topic which is hugely relevant to today's world. I know that you don't deal with health insurance that much, but you know that landscape very well. Why is it so chaotic?
On purpose.
You talk to the practitioners, they are confused. Patients, they are confused. Middlemen, they are equally clueless. So you said on purpose. Tell us more.
My belief is the insurance company strategically makes it very hard for claims to be paid. They are for-profit companies. United, Cigna, the Blues, I could go down the list. Their position is to reward shareholder. We're going to see more and more denied claims. That is in response to shareholder pressure. You can do all the right things. Pay your premium every year. I had the gold plan. I had what I thought at the time was the best available and still get denied. Or this surgery is limited to $300,000. I've seen them all. On purpose, the health insurance industry is cutting benefits internally to reward shareholders. It's shameful.
How do you fix it?
I think the way you have to fix it, and I hate to say this, but the only alternative I know is government and making natural medicine more a part of the public landscape. Is it magnesium? Can you take more vitamin D? When's the last time you went for a walk? My friend, we live in a country where, think about, and I'm raising my voice, we live in a country where the majority of people are obese. That is mind-blowing to me. We live in a country where you can truly get up, walk around, go outside, and do something about it. Well, if that's true, wouldn't it make sense for Fortune 500 companies to have mandatory programs? And then you cut the premium when they hit a goal of losing 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds. They have to be financially incentivized to perform. Then give them a reason to perform. As I've always said, man, you really hit my hot topic here. Doesn't it make more sense to reward the individual for working out than paying the heart attack claim? That to me is so straightforward. Well, you can't make me lose weight. Well, what if your premium for your family isn't 1,200, it's 800? Okay, you have my attention. It's that straightforward. Hey, here's a website you can go to that will literally build. You and I have had fascinating conversations about AI. Hey, here's a website you can go to that'll build your diet plan. Here's what we recommend on ChatGPT as a place to start an exercise. How many people do we know? Every answer is right here. Now, is it up to the company directive? I believe so. You tell me you care about the employee. Okay. Can you prove it? Are you measuring blood pressure? Are you just measuring blood pressure? We got to start somewhere. I think that would be the easiest. Wow, I see your blood pressure is high. Instead of going on meds, what if we did A, B, and C and came back in 6 months? I would think companies would be all over that. Because then they complain our premiums went up 35%. Well, what'd you do about it? Well, nothing. This is just the way we've always done health insurance. Someone is going to come along in that space and realize literally the answers are in front of you.
You held up a device which everyone goes to these days for all sorts of questions. They also go to it for a lot of mindless consumption of content. I don't have any evidence to say it, but there's plenty of conjecturing and hypothesis that the freedom of speech has created the so-called freedom of speech, or people can post whatever they feel like, has caused more harm than good for public at large. What's your view on social media? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it depending on the person who is doing it?
It is truly addictive for a reason. They knew what they were doing when they invented it. It is addictive as heroin. This isn't me speaking. This is world-renowned doctors. You know this as well as I do, my friend. If I can get in your mind, I can rule you. I want you to think about something. Social media says the ideal beauty person is very skinny. Stop. Okay. Then what does that say about every human being that isn't skinny? They have no value. Well, what's their BMI? What's their backstory? What trauma did they live through? That's why social media, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. I know, I shouldn't, no, I am going to say this. My belief is that thing is invented to sell you more garbage. That's it. Feel bad about yourself? Buy my coaching course. Spouse doesn't love you? Buy my coaching course. Kids won't listen to you? Buy my coaching course. Because they know what you're looking up. I'm trying to help myself live a better life. Now you're going to use it against me to sell me crap. That's how I feel about social media.
So we live in an era where social media is a big force, AI is a big force. Governments have rules to regulate pharmaceuticals, insurance companies, which you know very well. They have all kinds of rules of what price you can charge. State commissioners have control over it. But there's no social media commissioner for state or federal. There is no AI commissioner. What you look a lot at regulation on daily basis. What is the right approach? Should there be control on what can be posted, what can be done by AI, or it should be left to the entrepreneurs and the businesses' discretion?
I don't know if we hate mail, but you asked me a question, so I'm going to answer to the best of my ability. I think social media should be limited. That's it. An hour, and then your phone shuts off. Because again, my opinion, I'm more worried about what is it doing to your mind. Who is making you feel unworthy? Who is making these people feel, especially high schoolers, you don't belong? I worry about 10, 20, 30 years down the line. What is the mental capacity or belief for these people? That's what terrifies me as someone with kids. And you know this, my kids are I have a lovely daughter, 33, and a son, 28. Okay. I know their social media habit is different than someone the age of your children, because the younger they are, the more they're getting hooked in. How many times have you been out with your family and you'll see the family at the table of six, each kid has their cell phone and mom and dad aren't saying a word? That's what I think gets to the social fabric of America. When I watch families go out to dinner and they're not even talking to each other, that's what scares me. Because my belief, the job of the family is to build each other up. Okay, what's getting in the way of that? So you don't want your kids to be upset and cry going out to grab a pizza, but you're perfectly fine that you're not talking to each other? I don't get it, my friend.
Chris, this has been fascinating. I got so many insights. Is there anything which we didn't discuss? What was the most important thing that I didn't ask you?
What is my legacy? And my legacy is to be the type of friend you would like to have, and just living it out. Because you and I are blessed. We can text each other, hey, what's on your mind? If it's not about business, fine. It's whatever it's about. I know we can have dialogue. I worry about other people. Think about this. Gary Vee is starting a company where people will walk with you for 30 minutes or an hour, whatever you order, just so there's some human interaction. That's not a good statement. We need each other. Why was I so adamant about working in an office? We need each other. That's why. You've got to start somewhere, but be the type of friend you'd like to have. That I want that to be my legacy, and your integrity will always show up. The best of you is what's going to come out of you. And that's why in our relationship for years, we know it's always going to be integrity based. Hey, here's what I'm doing. There isn't some form of the truth. No, it's the truth. Here's what I'm dealing with. Here's what you're dealing with. Hey, my wife ran into this situation. We need each other. That's what I want everyone to hear this. If you remember anything else I said, we need each other. That's it.
Well, Chris, let's end on a lovely note. Thank you again. And to our listeners, please subscribe to Occams Advisory and to this podcast, Inception to Infinity. Thank you for listening. We'll keep coming back with exceptional content. Chris, it was a pleasure.
Thank you, my friend.